Welcome to today's episode of the Working Wisdom podcast series, brought to you by the C.T. Bauer College of Business at the University of Houston. We're having a conversation about work-life balance, how to navigate and overcome challenges within your career, and how to make business more accommodating to a diverse workforce.
Hi, I'm Jamie Belinne. I'm the Assistant Dean for Career Services at the Bauer College of Business at the University of Houston. And today we're talking to Paulina Tobon, who is the founder of Luca Bracelets and also a graduate of the Bauer College of Business. So welcome, Paulina.
Thank you so much, guys, for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So tell us a little bit about your journey from being a college student to being a social entrepreneur.
It all started, let me go back a little on the story. The last year of college here was when everyone is going around looking for their internships, for what career they're going to follow. And at that time was whenever I started really feeling that there was something else for me to do, something that I could create of my own. I had an internship over the summer, and I had a couple of interviews with a lot of great companies, but somehow I didn't feel like I really belonged, and I didn't really feel that identity with them. So I decided to do the crazy jump and go off and start my own business.
So how did you actually get started? I know a lot of young people in college are thinking, one day I want to have my own business. I've got this dream, I've got this vision, but I don't even know where to get started. How did you get started?
So I got started with Luca Bracelets by putting all of my passions together. Upon graduation, I was thinking, okay, if you want to do something of your own, of something that you're passionate with, what is it going to be? How are you going to put all these elements together to actually create a business out of it? So while I was at U of H, I had a study abroad experience in Southeast Asia where we did microfinance to countries, Malaysia, Singapore, Vietnam. And it was a really great experience to go over there and see how through business I can make an impact with my community. And my brain started going from that thinking, okay, I'm from Colombia, I'm super passionate about people down there and how I can make a difference. How could I actually do this myself, change it and do it back there? And putting that together, business, making a difference. Then what am I passionate about? Every time I would go to Colombia, I would always go and buy like bracelets and all the knickknacks and all the great things that they have. And when I would come back to the States, all my friends would be like, oh, why didn't you get me some? Or next time you go, let me give you some money. And I started putting all those things together. And I thought, okay, how about we make bracelets, and we have women of low income that are looking for an opportunity of employment. We'll train them, make them some artisans, and we'll produce the products and send them here. So it'll create an opportunity of employment. Let's start with that. My mom, who lives in Colombia, and they're retired, my parents are retired and living the good life down there. I was like, you know what? I think you have some extra time on your hands. You want to help me out with a project? And she was like, what? No, you're crazy. I don't know how to make bracelets. Who am I going to hire? Who are we going to look for? How is this even going to, come about? And I was like, you know what? Let's start with step one. So that's really how Luca Love has been, coming about. At the beginning, you might feel very overwhelmed and not really knowing what you're going to do or how you're going to put things together. But, start at step one and then go from there, inch by inch. And sure enough, everything will come together. And here we are now.
So tell me about your step one. How did you actually put together this dream that you had with actually finding women that would be your artisans and designs that they could produce?
So my mom met a woman called Isabel, and she was my mom's friend. She was actually finishing her high school degree because she didn't finish high school, so she was going back, and she really had this big dream of being a teacher. So my mom's like, Paulina has this idea and she wants me to start making bracelets. And do you think you would be interested? I mean, I know you're having a hard time right now trying to get your things together. You want to go to school. Maybe this would be a good opportunity for you. And Isabel was like, I don't know how to make bracelets. I'm not an artisan. But you know what? if this is an opportunity, let's take it. Let's see where this leads us. So they started going to workshops in Medellin, in the city that we're from. They started going to workshops and learning about this whole project of making bracelets and the beads and all of that. And they started coming out with the first samples. So I brought those back to the States, and I sold to my coworkers back then. And they all went, within the first hour. And then my other friends were angry that I didn't give them more, and why didn't I have it? I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't even know that they were going to be, this much of a hit. We're just kind of testing things out right now. One thing led to another. The word started spreading in Colombia. Like Isabel told one of her friends, and my mom telling just the ladies that would come in, for example, clean the house and things like that. And the word started spreading that they could work from home on their free time. They didn't have to go out and look for babysitters or anything like that, and started taking advantage of the opportunity. And here, I started doing a lot of events and pop-ups and things like that, and started the online website. So things started coming together and growing. Isabel, since she's been with us, she has been able to go back and finish her degree, and she is actually an English teacher right now to an English program that we started last year. So we're giving back an English program to a rural community in Colombia. It's this rural school, and she's the teacher of our program. So it's full circle, and it is the most fulfilling thing, and that's what pushes us to keep going forward.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
The thing that strikes me, because I went on the Luca Love website to look at the bracelets, and they are gorgeous, by the way, and I was disappointed at some that were sold out, because I thought, but I needed that one. But they're very inexpensive, especially by Houston standards. They're very inexpensive for lovely handcrafted items. And it's kind of interesting to me that something that is relatively inexpensive can have such an impact in Colombia. Tell me a little more about how you're able to take the profits from this business and impact the local communities back in Colombia. You talked about your education programs, but tell me more about that.
Okay, so I think that price was something that I also wanted to focus on when it came to our bracelets. I wanted everyone to feel like they could make an impact. They could afford to make an impact. Sometimes people think that, oh no, that's too much, I can't do that. But $10, $15, $20 a bracelet, and it goes a long way, especially if we get, everyone to come together and to make a difference. It definitely works out. So with the profits that we save up for the community programs that we have, well, first, our focus is the employment of low-income Colombian women. And after that, we started this English program in a rural school in Colombia, and we go Mondays and Tuesdays, and it's absolutely free, and we're sponsoring to teach them English, and it's been a great experience. I was actually just there for 4 months, and I got to go to these classes with these kids, and they are really the inspiration that helped me keep going forward, because there are so many opportunities that we have here in the States, and we don't realize it sometimes. Going down there and going to a rural community with kids that I tell them that I'm coming from, oh, here's Paulina, she's coming from Houston. They're like, wow, you know English? Wow. And all these things, I'm like, and to me, it's something so normal, so, not. And they look up to you, and they get inspired to be able to learn another language and to go out there and be more. Whenever you talk to these kids and you ask them, like, what is your dream? What is your passion? Or what do you want to be when you grow up? They don't know how to dream. They tell you, I want to work the land, or I'm going to be a truck driver. And, there's nothing wrong with these professions, but it's just the fact that they don't know how to think beyond that, because they don't believe that they have opportunities to go even further. And this is just an English program, but through English classes, we're able to instill in them to have more of an imagination and more of a belief that they can go even further. So like during English classes, we'll have professions and showing them and educating them and in different aspects and giving them also a support that they don't have. their parents are working nonstop. When they go home, most of them work with their parents as well in the fields and things like that. So having an external source come in and kind of open their eyes and show them another world is really satisfying, and it's really awesome to see how it just changes their perspective on things and hopefully make a change.
That's wonderful. We're going to take a short pause to hear an important message. When we return, we'll continue our conversation with Paulina on how does she do it.
Got an idea for a startup? Red Labs is the University of Houston's co-working space, startup accelerator, and technology entrepreneurship program. Supported by Bauer's Wolf Center for Entrepreneurship, we work with UH-affiliated founders to turn your technology startup ideas into high-growth ventures. We provide free co-working space, access to mentors and resources in the startup community, and customized startup curriculum. For more information, visit redlabs.bauer.uh.edu.
We're talking to Paulina Tobon, founder of Luca Love Bracelets, today about her journey to bring local entrepreneurship globally to help people in Colombia through Luca Love Bracelets. So, Paulina, I know one of the challenges of being an entrepreneur is that things don't always go according to plan and things don't always happen like you dreamed it and stuff gets in the way. How have you handled some of the challenges that you faced as a global entrepreneur?
Yes, definitely. Challenges do come about. Really, what it comes down to is doubt and fear. And whenever those things start getting into your head and those thoughts start running around, it stops you and it really paralyzes you from moving forward. And you start really focusing on all the obstacles and not on the opportunities. So don't get me wrong, I have had plenty of challenges and plenty of doubts and things like that, but you got to have faith and really remember what you're doing and why you're doing it, and you will find a way. Because if you're an entrepreneur and you have passion and you are dedicated to your mission, you can't stop. You got to keep going. So whenever I have a lot of doubts and obstacles that come my way, take a second, step back, take a breather, go for a run or a hike or something, and refocus and regroup. And again, remember what you're doing, why you're doing it, what's your purpose, what's your mission, and you're going to figure it out, because there's more than likely someone out there that has already gone through the same difficulties that you have, and there's so much to learn from, so many resources that you can reach out to, and most of all is just having faith and remember what your goal is and remember where you're wanting to go, and stay on that route, keep going forward.
So tell me about a time that you faced an obstacle or you got stuck and how you overcame it.
When it comes to having, I guess, drier seasons and sales not really going through, and you start getting a little desperate and thinking, okay, how am I gonna make some sales this month? How am I gonna reach the goals that I have? And like I said, you start getting fearful and doubtful, and you start thinking that there's not going to be a way out, or that you probably aren't going to meet your goals for the month. But whenever I start surrounding myself with people that inspire me and that motivate me to keep going forward, going to like women's groups or talks, listening to podcasts, finding a mentor that really comes and brings you back together again and helps you refocus. Because, when you're an entrepreneur, you feel really lonely at times, and you feel like you're crazy by having these dreams and these ideas, and you don't really know where you're going to go. Sometimes you have to, go out and reach out and find like-minded people to really refresh you and motivate you to keep going. Just this past week, there was like a women's group. We're coming together and raising funds for Harvey, and they had different vendors, and I went out there. And these women lifted my spirits so much to keep moving forward and inspiring me to, not give up, because when we come together, we can make things happen.
So you raised an interesting point about how important it is to not try to do everything by yourself and to have a support system. How have you found the mentors and the cheerleaders in your life to help you as an entrepreneur?
First, my family has been number one. Apart from, Luca Love being worked by my mom, myself, and my sister, that right there, some people might say, how are you crazy working with your family? But but they are the strongest support system that I have, because when one of us is feeling down, the other reminds you, like, no, look what we're doing, look how far we've gone, let's get together, let's put this on the side and keep moving forward. A mentor I have that reached out to me, found my website online, and from then we grew a strong relationship. They have a lot more experience in the field, and they helped me so much on refocusing and realizing, like, they've been there, they've done that. You're not alone. Like, you can do this. We can get forward and keep working on it. So also the same Luca Love followers and shoppers and family that I call them are an amazing support system. Our following is really strong, and they constantly, show love and support through our media and reach out to us, and that's also, really satisfying to know that your product, is reaching so many people and it's making an impact for them to be your cheerleaders and tell you to keep moving forward. So that's really cool as well.
And you've done a very good job of having kind of a modern day business that doesn't have a storefront attached to it. Tell me about some of the creative social media and other marketing strategies that you've used to get your product out there.
Yes, social media plays a big role with us now. Doing Instagram and reaching out to different bloggers throughout the country. We even have some in Canada, and it's really cool to work with them because we send our products to them, and they have their followers as well, and being able to reach out so many people through media and not have to go out and hunt for people on your own, like individually, is really awesome. And it starts forming an online community, and all these people and friends that you make through social media you have never even met before, but it's a really cool platform to work with. So we have a lot of bloggers and doing giveaways and working through all the social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, doing email blast and all that good stuff.
You also have done some marketing with local businesses where you're actually putting your product out with local businesses to kind of get a little more exposure. How did you put together those relationships to make that happen?
So forming partnerships with local businesses, for example, we have Texas Roadhouse in Pasadena that we go out, and during the weekends we have our little pop-up set out. It's really cool partnership because for them, they get to expose and show how they're also of a support to the community and to local businesses. And we also spread the word out for them. And it starts creating a little family and a little community within the area. And we start becoming pretty known, actually, through Roadhouses, where most of the people have recognized us. So many people are going in and out through a restaurant. Also, we have the Health Nut in Deer Park, which, some people might think like, what, a restaurant and bracelets? How do these things, come together? But it's more about the community and the involvement and the business owners coming together and really, forming a different concept of how to get the word out there and coming together and making a difference.
See, all I can think is if you've got bracelets at a restaurant on date night, then you kind of have to buy one for your date, right?
We do awesome during Valentine's and Mother's Day.
I bet you do.
Yes.
You've got a method to this madness here.
It seems a little odd, but it definitely comes together for sure.
So have you thought about expanding past bracelets in the future?
Definitely. And a lot of our clients right now ask us for more than bracelets. My mom is already looking into doing necklaces and earrings, putting the whole set together. But I would also love to branch out into clothing pieces.
Ooh, fun. When could we see some of that?
Oh, hopefully sooner than later. But we really want to focus on continuing the artisan growth and opportunity of employment in Colombia. So we want to see how we can expand that aspect with the artisans down there as well.
Well, Paulina, thank you so much for your time today, and thank you for sharing your story and for all that you do to help the people of Columbia. And thank you for representing Bauer and the UH Cougars around the world with your social entrepreneurship.
Thank you so much. You have no idea how proud I am to be a University of Houston student and be able to be here representing and making a difference in our communities.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of the Working Wisdom podcast series from the C.T. Bauer College of Business, brought to you by the Working Families Initiative. The initiative aims to provide support and access for women in business school and the workforce, and to generate research that organizations can use to implement policies and standards to benefit a diverse workforce. For more information about Bauer College and this podcast series, visit www.bauer.uh.edu/podcasts.